Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back. Thank you for tuning in. Things are going really good here. The monsoons have been hitting the past couple weeks. Everything's super green. I love how lush it always gets during this time of year with all this rain. And I started thinking about my property here. You know, I've got my place is right here. I've got a lake that's over there. And I was thinking, why don't I try to start trapping a little bit of water in my place? Because the contours of my land, if you look at it, looking down here, I've got slopes on both the east and the west side of my property. And so this is the little lake that's near our place. It's got a little wetland area as you go into it. And that place is always really green and everything year round, even during the dry season, because it's a big water catchment area. So I was thinking, like, why don't I do the same at my place? I'm up here on this ridge. You see my little camper right there. And on both sides of it, I could use the contour of the land and have that work in my favor. So this is the south-facing slope on my property, and I can use that slope to trap the water down in the lower meadow and make it into a really green, like, lush area. And it's going to take a couple years, but it's going to be worth all the effort. And what I first need to do is remove all the juniper trees because they just suck up so much water. But first, I want to let you know my neighbor Darren, right down the road from me, he got a really awesome 1988 J20 Jeep. So we're going to work on this thing and strip the paint off it down to the original green and see what it looks like. So I'll keep you all informed with that. So anyway, let's get to the video. All right, so we've got our bird of prey up here cruising around. And there he is. It's a bald eagle that we've got. It's massive, and it's got a nest like kind of over, whoops, let's see here. Kind of over in that area right there. And so it's chirping like crazy up here. Don't know what's going on, if there's other birds in the area, but we'll keep an eye on it. I'm going through today, I'm knocking out juniper trees on my property. Reason for that is the juniper trees they take up so much water. Just a little tree like that one right there will soak well over 100 gallons of water per year. The big one, like that tree right there, will do 4,700 gallons of water per year. And then of course the ones in between, it's varying. And so if you look back here, if we walk this way and look towards kind of the upslope here, what I'd like to do is return all this back to like a real nice grassy knoll that goes down into the meadow. And so we're going to start thinning out some of these trees. Now I'm not going to remove all of them, especially the old growth junipers and the shaggy. I like those. I'm going to keep those around and have them kind of dispersed throughout. But I'm going to open this up. What's up, girl? I'm going to open this up a little bit and see if we can get the water to soak into the ground more as opposed to go to these juniper trees, because these juniper trees have a very extensive root system and they go down really far. And so you want to be sure to eliminate those if you can. And then eventually I can use it as firewood once it's seasoned. And so I went through yesterday. What I'm doing is I'm cutting them down all the way down to just little tiny nubs so they don't get started again. And then we'll see. This is going to be like a multi-year project, so we'll see how it goes with the water soaking into the ground, because I want to do the same down in the lower meadow, and I'll show you what I'm doing down there to help with water retention as well. I totally get that some people might not understand why I'm cutting down trees. They think, oh my gosh, you're just ruining the environment. But that's not the case, because these juniper trees require so much water to stay alive. Just on the hillside area, which is about 5 acres that I plan to cut down where these junipers are at, just in that little section of my land requires about 240,000 gallons of water per year just to keep these trees alive. And they don't provide much benefit for the environment other than a little bit of shade for some rabbits and things like that. By installing a few swales on the downward slope, I'll be able to transform this land from thirsty juniper trees to a productive food forest. I'm going to show you something. This is something I did a while back, and I wanted to test and see how it would improve the grass down here, because the grass that you see that's tall, look down here, it's taller than the rest, and out in front here too. This area didn't have a whole lot of grass on it. And what I wanted to do was build a little rock barrier to slow down the water right here and essentially trap it to where it would be held back a little bit and kind of soak into the ground on both sides. And it looks like it reached to about right there. So from here back up to there is where it went. So what's that, about 5 feet? It looks like. If we look from the side here, you can see a distinct line with the grass growing taller. And then right there, it just goes to smaller grass. So what I'm thinking is build a lot more of these rock dams, and it's not really a dam, it's just kind of like a water catchment to where it slows it down, and then keep on getting them taller and taller to where we can spread this water out that comes through here, like really spread this out, because this is a whole area that I could potentially flood. And by doing so, it would make the ground here much more lush, and the grass would be greener, and maybe even get it to where we'd have grass year round that would be green, which would be awesome. So I could redo this area. This is going to be a years long project, but I can redo this entire area back in here. And part of the idea of cutting down the trees up there is that I can just basically make that whole hillside a water catchment. And I'm going to put swales in there too. And swales are these depressions you can put in to where it'll literally catch the water, and then it will soak into the ground, and you store a bunch of groundwater into the ground there. So I can do it on the hillside and create a whole area where I'm storing groundwater, and eventually just have it just kind of, underground, drain into this area down here, and make it all lush. And as you can see here, I've already done another rock wall. This was one I did yesterday. And so what I want to do today is this isn't very big. It's only, I don't know, maybe like a foot tall. And so I want to make it a lot taller than this and get it to where, maybe like add another foot on it, and also add some stuff behind it, so when the water hits it, it's not just going to knock over. But this will help slow things down, and then, fill up this channel a little bit back in here and make it a lot more, the ground's going to soak in with a lot more water. And I predict that the area here, this little island area, will get a lot more lush. And I'll clear out these trees over here. I predict this area will get a lot more lush. We still have a little bit of monsoon season left, so we could see some potential benefits from it this year. But looking back this way, I want to show you, I basically got two channels. That one right over there, which I want to put a rock dam in, and this one right here, which already has one, I just showed you that, but I want to build it up and then build a bunch more in here. So one of the things I love about my place here is I've got all these rocks back over here, which I can use to build stuff. And so when I come back over here, I'll show you. I'm going to use these rocks back here. Maybe I'll back the quad in a little bit further. Yeah, that's what I'll do. I'm going to back the quad in a little bit further, and then use these rocks in here for the filler for the little rock, water catchment things back there. So I think we're going to try to knock out maybe one more today, and then we'll see how hot it gets. The cloud cover's coming in, but it's still pretty warm, and if this cloud leaves, which it looks like it's going to, it's getting pretty hot. And so we'll jam until the clouds come, and then we'll take off. It's about quitting time, but I'm going to show you what I was able to accomplish today. So we've got the wall looking a little better, and nice thing is we have some monsoons coming tonight, and all day tomorrow, so we'll be able to put this to the test. And so I wanted to make sure that I got some debris down here to try to catch some sediment, and then on the back side here, add a couple layers of reinforcement, so that way when the water hits it, it's not just gonna give out from underneath. At the highest point, you're looking about knee high, so not super huge, but it's a start, and it's gonna help. So the goal is to get this area right here, get this all kind of flattened out and fill it in over the eons, or not eons, but just like weeks or years, because this will trap sediment and slow the water down. And then sediment will also settle down here, and it raises it up, and then it spreads the water out a little bit more. Getting a little monsoon, and it looks like the pot of gold is literally right there. So, that's kind of a dumb joke. All right, it's starting to come down pretty good, so we're gonna go inside. love how my place looks though when it rains out here, because it's just so cool looking. Sorry, I got a little bit of water on this thing. Yeah, let's get this off. All right, cool. We're gonna head back inside though. So we're just gonna kick it in here tonight though. Just hang out with my #1 girl. What's up, sweetie? I tell you what, we got clobbered with rain last night. It was from like midnight until about 5 a.m. I forgot that there was still that little leak on the roof, or actually the little side window in the topper. Look, I just gave you some water, baby girl. But anyway, I forgot that there was that side, or that little leak on the window. So I ran out there at like 2 o'clock in the morning and grabbed my Hess sleeping mattress out of there because I didn't want it to get waterlogged. And there was a little bit of water on it, but not too bad. So just got to remember today, before the storms hit again, to button up that side window. And I think we're good because it wasn't leaking from the other spots. So the back spot's good, where the main leak was. That doesn't seem to be leaking at all. And I mean, I just put a ton of silicone on it. And then the front spot doesn't seem to be leaking, but the side spot leaks, and then it will run to either the back or the front, depending on how the truck is angled because of the channel on top of the roof, or on top of the window. So that's all right. We'll get that squared away and we'll be good to go. For now, we're gonna run down and check the little dam that I made down here, or not dam, but little rock barrier to help slow down the water. Because I think I'm gonna be pleasantly surprised with how much it's pulled it back. Also, too, I want to show over here. This is the little truck camping area that I made a long time ago, and this is the spot that I lived at when I first moved to the property and was working on everything. And my little RC rock crawling area is all through here. And this is a really cool little spot. I've got a little fire pit. And then I need to clean it up a little just because there's plants on it and stuff. But here's looking back at the little pad that I made. So I did all this by hand and with a shovel, and that's it. Like a crazy person. It was really tiring. I mean, when I got here, I didn't have any supplies. I didn't have anything. I had a chainsaw and an axe. And so I bought a shovel. No, actually, I borrowed a shovel from my friend Chad, and then also borrowed a wheelbarrow, and did all this. End up kind of terraforming it a little bit because this slopes down pretty fast. So if we walk down over here, you'll see that I actually built some rock retaining walls, like in between the boulders here where it was really coming down. I built it and then built it up a little bit. We come over here, a little bit of a pad. This is like where I put my awning out and just parked the truck right here. So did all that by hand. Would never recommend doing that again. It'd about kill you. But I think the result of it looks pretty cool because it does look like a trail. You know, I used some trees with some stumps and put them down for barriers to really hold the dirt back. And it's holding. I mean, it looks, you need to be cleaned up a little bit, but it's still doing all right. Hey, what do you say we go down and go check this out? Let's go on this way. Boy, this place got hammered. Let's come over here. Let's go this way. So here's one of the areas that I want to kind of put a big rock barrier, probably about down right there, and try to flatten this area out right here. Take out these junipers, these smaller ones. Even a small one, just like this right here. Little baby one that's getting going. A little tiny one that's not even an inch in diameter will use almost 75 gallons of water a year. So they just drain too much from the landscape. And if I take them out, then that'll have an opportunity for other tree species to grow. And I can maybe try to put some other stuff down here that'd work better. And also just see what comes back, you know, let the natural landscape kind of take over. Wow, this really pulled back a lot of sediment. Sweet. All right, that worked well. Look at all that sediment. That all came up here. This wasn't here yesterday. Nice. So what I want, this is exactly what I want to have happen already, and it's already happening. After one flow here, there's a bunch more sediment. It used to look like that over there. So it was all just kind of like a, you know, normal like creek bed or whatever. Then if you look at it here, all this sediment that comes down, that gets washed down from the soil, that, you know, kind of cascades down. And that's why the water always looks a little cloudy, is because the soil goes with the water. So what this is gonna do, let me back up here. What this is gonna do is raise the land up. And in turn, that spreads out the water. So the other areas back over in here are gonna get a heck of a lot more water. And what it looks like this backs up all the way to that spot right there. And so all this spot's gonna do. So what I wanna do is, you know, make this higher. You can see where the flow was and where it was coming. So it was coming pretty high over the little spot right there. So it's up there. And that's probably a good 3 to 4 inches of soil, sediment deposit that's happened in here. So I'm really pleased with this. This is working out really well. And rocks I put on there yesterday are a lot bigger on top. They're real heavy, so it's holding everything down. And then I put some stuff behind it to secure it. So I'm really pleased with that. That's working out well. Check out our other one. This one's smaller. I need to really reinforce this one a bunch. But there's a lot more sediment that's starting to get deposited. I can already see right here. Yeah, there's a lot more. Okay, cool. This one here, I'm gonna have to go through and do something in that area and kind of build that up. But it's spreading out the water too. You can see the flows now coming over the sides here and coming this way. And there's a lot more sediment that's being deposited. So, you know, we've got this one right here, and then we got that one right there for the other rock wall. And then I just want to build a bunch more. I probably have like at least a dozen more to build. Nice thing is with that rock garden over there, there's plenty of places to get supplies. What you doing, girl? Let's go walk this way. I know it's muddy. Let's go walk up over here. Come on. I'm going to point out that I have a bunch of these fingers that come in, these other washes that come into the main one. And so I'll be, you know, doing the same rock wall features on a lot of these, because this all slopes down. This is a big bowl. You know, it comes down from the campers up over there, comes down this way into this valley. There's a huge area here that I think could soak up a ton of water if I flatten it out. And if that's the case, might even be able to turn this into somewhat of a wetland area, you know, especially during monsoon season. But there's a whole other mountainside over here that slopes down and comes in this way. So my thought process of making my entire land just basically one big rain catchment area is, you know, we got the water coming down here. I'll put these rock features in to slow down the water and spread it out a little bit. And then on that side there where I'm cutting down the junipers, that's about 5 acres. So if I make that thing almost entirely clear except for the old growth junipers that are up there, and take out those water sucking junipers that are just taking up way too much moisture from the ground, and let all that moisture soak in, if I create some swales, like maybe 3 big swales that come down the side of the slope there, and then store that water in the ground, after year 3, all that water will really accumulate and come down into this area. So because it'll go down and gravity will bring it down this way. And so I think over the years, I can just really start to stock this place full of water. And it's going to take a bunch of years to make it happen. But it'll be a cool project to see if I can do it. I mean, just the results that I got there after one rain, you know, with having like 4 inches of sediment, of good sediment deposited, that's exactly what I want. And so we're going to do that all throughout this lower area here and flood this entire plain. And it's going to really make a difference long term. So about right over here is where I would build the main water retention wall, and just be kind of where it drops off. This is where it starts to get into these channels. And so spread all this water out throughout this entire meadow here. The water that comes down from my area I'm cutting all comes down to right down here. And so get rid of a lot of these large junipers in here. And, you know, like that one right there, that probably takes about 5,000 gallons of water per year. Just to keep it alive. And those junipers don't provide a whole lot of benefit to the environment around here. So, but this entire place where it comes down and snakes down through here, just make all this, you know, even more green just by flooding everything and getting rid of some of these junipers in here. And like I said, it's going to be a multi-year project. You know, it's going to take a long time. The first thing I want to do is get the side all taken care of there and get the water starting to come down here. And then each day I'll just do a little bit with the rock walls, and we'll see. Oh, there's a little rabbit right there. What's up, Jackrabbit? I'm not gonna hurt you, bud. welcome here anytime. But put the rock walls each day and, you know, just do a little bit. You can't do it all at once. That's what I've realized with doing this out here and doing these projects is like, you got to pace yourself. If not, you'll certainly run yourself into the ground. So, but we're going to go back up and get some drone footage of this area. I think it's real pretty through here. And I firmly believe that we can make this into like a kind of an almost not a wetland maybe, but pretty close, at least during monsoon season, just by slowing down all this water and spreading it out to this entire little area here. All right, Pumpkin, let's go back. I am beat from walking around. Wore a sweatshirt out here thinking it was cold, and it was, and now it's starting to warm up, and now I'm hot, so we're gonna go inside and edit up this video and get it posted for y'all. So hope you all have a good start to the holiday weekend. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate all the well wishes out here, and I really like the audience we have here. I think everybody's great, and so just want to say thanks for that, and I look forward to showing y'all how I'm going to transform this place, because there's a lot of potential here. It's already good, but it could be exceptional, and that's what I plan to get it to. All right, have a good day. See y'all later.